it's Erica back on the Crafty Meraki YouTube channel, and today I am going to show you how I colored this flower. And if you've seen the recent Instagram hop that we did, you can see this card on my feed as well as a quick reel on the Crafty Meraki and my own page. I got so many incredibly lovely comments on this, so I thought, why not show you how I did it, but slightly slower than the reel, because that is very, very, very sped up. So what we're going to do is today we're going to recreate this. Maybe not the whole tag, but definitely the coloring. So I'm going to put that aside right there, and then I'm going to show you the pieces that I have already cut out. So this is the Penelope Meraki Flora Para-dies, and I have cut them out of Copic friendly paper, which I'm only using Copic friendly paper because I'm going to be using my Copic markers, of course. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try to keep the pieces in the paper. So instead of fiddling and trying to keep a hold of them while we're coloring, we're simply going to pop this over, and then we're going to use a little bit of washi tape. Right, so we're going to take a little bit of this washi tape, and this is really low tack washi tape, but it's going to just keep all of these pieces in place while I'm coloring. So we're going to stick 3 on here, like so, and 1 up there, all the way across, like so. Okay, so here we have it. But I did cut out all 3, but I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to do the same one so that you can actually see exactly how I have colored or achieved this one. So these are all of the markers that we're going to be using today, and I know it's a lot. It really is a lot. We're going to color each section with at least 3 markers, and then we're going to go in a little bit later and we're going to add some details. But what we're going to do first is we're going to start with the yellow, so a Y17, and then we're going to color exactly the same areas here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our marker and we're going to go along the edge here to kind of create that depth and definition of our flower petal, and then we're going to go upwards a little bit here. And don't worry if you go over onto like any of the other parts, because we are going to color the whole shebang. So like so, and then kind of a few flicky motions like so. And then we're going to leave this one here because we will be using this one again. Then we're going to go to 06, and we're going to just gently flick across and go upwards a little bit more. And then we're going to go Y13, and we're going to kind of bridge the gap here between these two. And then we're going to use a little bit of Y11, oops, although this end, not the chisel nib. So, like so. Okay. And then, so right now, as it is, it doesn't look super pretty. It really doesn't. I mean, look at that. It doesn't look super pretty. But what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're going to let this settle a little bit, and then we're going to go in a little bit later and we're going to add some more details. So we're going to move on to our sort of peachy color. So we got YR02, YR82. We're also going to be using a little bit of YR01 and YR12 as our darkest color. So we're going to go the same thing again. So we're going to go along the edge like so, flick up a little bit and up to the side, and then we're going to move on to our next one. Oops. So YR02, and we're going to go slightly lower with this one because I went in the wrong order. And then we're going to go YR82, and we're going to go upwards to really get that sort of orangey peachy tone. And then YR01, we're going to get the right end here as well, like so. And then we're going to go all the way to the top and a little bit over, like so. Okay, and then if you want to make it easier for yourself, you can separate your markers first, which I probably should have done, but do as I say and not as I do, which is usually my motto. Right, so we have let this set for a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back in with our Y17. And what we're going to do is super, super light, with a very light touch. We are just going to flick upwards to create this kind of veiny bits on the petal. And then what we're going to do as well, we are going to go in with 06. And we're going to go slightly above. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing with our peachy tone here as well. So we're going to go in with, we're going to make sure we get it in the right order now. So YR02. And we're going to flick, 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 flick. So the lighter you touch, the thinner your flicks will be. So we're going to go in with a little bit of YR12 as well on top of this, because it's a slightly different color, to just kind of add in a little bit more interest. Right, like so. And then we're going to hold this up, see how we're doing. And then we're going to color the rest of the flower. So we are hopping into our time lapse here, and we're basically going to go through the whole thing again, all the way around in all of the colors. So first off, I did actually do the smart decision, and I separated all my markers into their color families. And then I have gone around every single petal per color. So we're doing this one color at a time. So you go in, you add your dark color, you go in with your next lightest color, and so on until you're happy. Now, of course, if you're preferring a smooth and blended look, make sure you do that right away, and then you don't have to do anything with the details later. So this is, you know, personal preference choices. So do what you like. Now, if you want to see the exact markers I'm using, it's very, very fast. I wasn't able to add in every single one, but you should be able to pause and write down the markers. Right, so our flower is finished coloring, or I finished coloring the flower. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the darkest of all of the colors and the couple of darkest even on some of them, and sometimes the next darkest. So what we want to do is basically create a little bit of contrast and detail to the flowers. So I'm going to push some of these aside, and then we're going to start again at the yellow. And I think we're also going to do a little bit of the YR12. So we're going to go right at the bottom, a few little flicks, like so. And then we're going to take our Y17 and go very, very light. I already have a few flicks here, so we're going to try to keep it mostly yellow. It is quite orange at the bottom here, but it is what it is. Right, so on this one, we are going to go YR02. And again, we're going to go up along the edge here and flick, 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 flick. Like so. Now, if you feel like there is not enough contrast, what you can do is you can take your lightest marker and go the opposite direction. So from the outside in. So we're going to go flick, 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 flick. And the lighter ones will pale out the color that you've already put down. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way around here. Now on this one, I think the R37 is a little bit too dark, so we're going to go straight down to R35. So we're going to go over the R37 here and flick, flick, flick. And on some of these, you will need to add a little bit more color, and some of them you will just have to maybe strip a little bit of color. It depends on your preference. So we're going to just keep on going over these until we're happy with the results. Now, I'm not sure I like that. So maybe what we'll do is we will actually add a little bit of R37. and go right at the bottom here. Now this is something that is, you know, you have to decide what is your preference, what do you like, what, you know, what is your look. Do you want it to be really blended? Do you want lots of detail? That is entirely up to you. Everybody likes different things, so just go ahead and try a couple of these and see what you like the best, and then stick with that. I kind of like the fact that I never really know what people are gonna like when I put it out. It's something that I might like gets a bit of a lukewarm response, and something that I'm like, ooh, I'm really not sure about this, gets so much love. It's, yeah, it's really, really hard to pin down what people like, but that is some, you know, partly what makes life interesting, I think. Okay, but I think we're quite happy with that. So then what we're going to do is we're going to start with the stem. So we're going to push all of these aside. Now for this, I have got quite a few markers again, and you might think that's a bit crazy for such a tiny bit, but it's all about getting those highlights and lowlights to kind of make it come to life. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the darkest, which is YG67. So your darkest one, and then what we're going to do is we're going to start right here at the top, and we're going to drag a little bit down, because this part would naturally be shaded by the petals, so that's why we're adding some darkness there. And then we're going to do the same at the bottom, because that would usually be shaded by whatever grass and leaves are around it, like so. And then at the top of each one of these, we're going to add a little bit of color in kind of flicks inwards, and this is to kind of add some detail and depth to them. So here we are going to just flick, 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 like so. And then what we're going to do is on the other side, we're going to add them to, no, hang on a minute, let's see. That does look kind of nice, doesn't it? So, okay, yeah, we're going to add it from the top on all sides. Stay up. So, flick, 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 flick. And flick, flick, flick. Okay, righty. Oh, and then we are going to go to G24. And so with this, we're going to go over almost all of it. Not quite all the way down, but almost all of it, and just drag that color upwards and downwards. And then we're going to do the same thing here. So we're going to flick, flick, flick. And then our next color, our G21. So we're going to go down, 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 and up, 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 and flick, flick, flick. So with this one, we're not going to go over all of them. So we're just going to kind of try to start in the middle and kind of drag that downwards like so. And then we're going to leave a little bit of white there, so that when we go in with our YG03, there is still a little bit of space for that yellowness to come through. So with this one, we're going to go over all of this like that, and then flick, flick, flick. Okay. Now, if you think that you need a little bit more color or a little bit more blending, go for it. It is also slightly difficult to see exactly what it looks like when it's still in this. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to peel this out, and we're going to have a look and see if we're happy with the results. So that looks quite nice. And I think we're going to keep it like that. So we're just going to peel this whole thing out. And then if you want to add color to the middle, do that. I did on the first one, but then I covered it up with a jewel. So I figured I might as well leave it white this time. But that is how you color one of these. In a rainbow wheel, that is. So on the top of this here, on this little wheel, I did exactly the same thing here. So I cut this out and I left the little circle in the paper. And then I just used all of the markers, well, one of each one of the colors of the markers, and just drew a strand outwards. And that was it. So this is the Love Slimline tag, which is one of my most used tags. And I love this one. And these are the unicorn gems here as well. So good. And then it's just finished off with Love and Kisses. And this is also part of the Slimline tag die. So that is it. But yes, I really hope you will give this a try. And if you do, make sure you tag us on social media with the hashtag Crafty Meraki. We would love to see your projects. Oh, don't forget to subscribe to the Crafty Meraki YouTube channel. Hit that thumbs up button. Share this if you liked it. And comment. We would love to hear your comments and your ideas. And that is it. Now I'm off. See you later. Bye.